Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stock Market Show. This is your host, Shades. KULR stock down another 13% on the day. Well, on its way to $2. Buyers nowhere to be found. And I know a lot of you have been telling me, oh, you should have averaged down, buy the dip, buy the dip. But that's not what I do on this channel. I'm never going to lie to people and tell them, oh, yeah, average down, guys, from the top. Keep buying all the way down, all the way down. Have a strategy. If you have a strategy, you are rewarded with better entry points and a lot more gains. I'm telling you that from experience, and I'm going to show you something right now, real quick. Let me see if I can find it here. It's all the way at the top. Wow. Okay. CYBL. I called this one. Ran 80%. Some people made huge money on that. Some didn't. Some people got bad, clearly. But we made our money and we're waiting for it to come down to what? The big bottom. Okay, that makes sense, right? It's logical to think that. Let's wait for it to get nice and cheap at the big bottom down here, 006.7s, for the next pump. And then we dump it and we rinse and repeat. We've done that twice already. But back then, there was no bottom. As you can see, if this side of the chart didn't exist, okay, we don't have a bottom just yet. So the MACD crossover is your next best entry point. And you'll notice the price hit 2 cents. And if I had averaged down like a sucker, well, I'd be holding a big bag, waiting for it to come back up above 1.2, because it has not been able to get above that. I'd be holding all my red shares down up here. But if I waited for the MACD crossover, guess what? It never happened until December 2nd here. We got the crossover here. And then I would have added, and guess what? I'd be buying at around 008 and not all the way from 2 cents and averaging down like a sucker. No, the MACD crossover is very reliable. Even on penny stocks, it can be very reliable. Whether you have the patience to wait for through all that bloody mess to get that good entry point, not the best entry point. The best entry point is going to be the bottom, the absolute bottom. But and people say, "Oh, you can't time the bottom, sir." I timed the bottom down here. What are you talking about? Everyone who bought in made money. AITX, everyone who bought in at the bottom down here, 002s, before it pumped, they made money. One guy made 100K. You can time the bottom on stocks. You can time the market, but you gotta have experience. You gotta have patience. You gotta have discipline, and not just average down because you're like, well, I guess I can't time anything. Maybe you can't, but I can with specific stocks. To be clear, KULR stock, KULR stock, and I hope you learn from this, because I know a lot of people have been learning and joining the Discord, and they've been learning day in and day out. Like, whoa, they're learning to think of the market the way I do. Okay, so where's the crossover? Hasn't happened. Where's the bottom? We don't know. It's kind of like it's almost similar to Sybil, right? Or AITX. We don't know. We don't know where the bottom is. People ask me, where's the bottom? How do I know? It has to reveal itself. And if it doesn't, if it just gets that crossover, then that's your entry point. If you wait for the crossover, you're rewarded with buying it much cheaper. And I'm giving you the strategy. It's free. I'm not like trying to hide anything. A lot of people have been joining the Discord because they see that I'm transparent and I'm not afraid to give my strategies, because guess what? I can give you all the strategies. It doesn't mean anything because most people are not going to be disciplined. They're just going to be averaging down, averaging down, averaging down. Meanwhile, we wait for a crossover. We get the best entry point possible. We avoid holding any red as it comes down lower. And then when we start pumping, we make the most gains, right? Because we're not averaging down from the top. We're even averaging down from here in this pullback, in the downtrend. So wait for the MACD crossover, because that's probably what's going to come first before the bottom, as I showed you with Sybil stock. This is just a pattern in the markets. If you don't have the patience, good luck. But if you do, keep an eye out for that crossover. See if we bottom down here at $2. And I want you to take note of the fact that somehow there are people who are very bullish. Okay, it's okay to be bullish on this one long term. I get that. Absolutely, I agree. But being bullish on it short term right now, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. And here's why. Here's why. Ready? I'm going to zoom in on the charts. We topped out at 5.49. How many of you actually count the candles? Yeah, I know some of you just went, what? You count candles? You actually count each individual candle? Yeah, I count them. I count them, and I count how many red and how many green. 1, 2, 3, 4 red candles, one barely green candle here. 1, 2, 3, 4 red candles. In the past 2 weeks, there's been 8 red candles and one, like I said, barely green, because buyers tried to push it up but got pushed down. What happened? Do you see what I see? Yeah, I count candles. I kid you not. I will count candles. I'm like, let's count each individual candle. Well, I see 8 red candles and just one green, barely. What does that tell you? It tells you sellers are not finished yet. They're still there. There's still a lot of people selling. And is anyone surprised? You shouldn't be surprised. A lot of people bought down here, and you have told me personally, yeah, I bought down there at 30 cents, 20 cents. I feel sorry for the suckers that bought at the top. Like, they bought nice and cheap down there, and they're seeing this fall down. The ones that have not taken profit yet, they're starting to take profit because they're like, well, I'm up hundreds of percentages. If this keeps going down, you know what? I'm just going to dump it, and yeah, because this just keeps bleeding. So imagine buying nice and cheap at $2. You could have taken 100% plus gains if at 550 or even at $4 or $5, but you for some reason decided to keep holding it, and now it's coming back down to your average. That would suck. So there's going to be still some dumping, in my opinion. We're not done yet. In the past 2 weeks, 8 red days versus one barely green. Sellers are in complete control. They are not finished just yet. But let's see if they are finished here at around $2 and $2.50, because these were big red candles. These are getting smaller as we go into that $2 level. So we might start to bottom out here. We'll see what happens. But that is it for the video. I'm telling you right now, exercise patience, discipline, follow the strategies that I give you, wait for the MACD crossover, and you will make money. Can you imagine someone giving you the easiest strategy ever and you're just unable to follow it? Think about that for a second. I'm not giving you a complex strategy. I'm not saying, hey, look at these 5 indicators and the VWAP and the RSI and it's oversold, and then look at this other indicator over here and the volume compared to the last volume, and look at these levels. None of that nonsense. What strategy am I giving you right now? Think about it for a second. I'm just telling you, wait for the crossover on the MACD. Like, it's that simple. And if you can't follow that, that's on you. It's really that simple of a strategy. Too many people make it complex with all these indicators. And you can see 12, 26, and 4. That's what I'm using. It's that simple. Wait for the crossover so you're not averaging down, and you'll get the best entry point possible. One of the best. The number one entry point will always be buying at the exact bottom, which some people will say you can't time that. I just showed you I can time it on SIBO and AITX. There's other stocks you can time it on. You just got to have experience and have confidence more than anything, because when it comes down to support, you got to have confidence. You got to be able to look at the stock and go, okay, I'm going to trust that it's going to hold here. When this comes down to 006s, it's going to be blood. It's going to be red. But you're going to go, yes, what an opportunity. It's at the bottom. You got to trust that it's going to hold. Because some people will get scared when they see it down here. Like, oh, what if it goes lower? Oh, no. No, 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 no. You get excited and you say, yes, I'm buying this fear down here. Same thing with AITX. You buy it down here when it comes down to the bottom and you say, yes. KULR stock, you're going to say, yes. I'm glad I waited. I'm glad I listened to this guy. I'm glad I used his simple MACD crossover strategy to wait to get a good entry point. Not the best again, absolute bottom. And you'll be rewarded. That's what the market rewards: patience and discipline. Whether you're waiting for a good entry point or you're waiting or you already got the good entry point and you're just waiting for it to pump, and then it pumps from 30 cents to 5.49, and at that point you have to be patient and hold as it goes higher and higher so you can make the most gains. I want you to think about that for a second. That's it for the video. I would be very careful though. The market has been bloody and red, and I wouldn't be surprised if we continue lower, because we're just bleeding. And where are the buyers on all these stocks? Nowhere to be found. So just exercise a lot of caution. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one.